I want to talk to you about the 1974 Chrysler Town and Country wagon. Now, my dad bought this at an auction at his company. It was a company limousine at Olin. It's a special order. She had room for 9 people, back seat, 440 engine, 440 torque flight, posi track. Now, this car was basically a rocket ship. I'm serious. People are picking on these things. 1974 is basically a new piece of crap, but this was special ordered. So it might have had a special engine inside the car. 3 engines exhaust. You could put the pedal down. You could hear the air just go through the exhaust. And the thing would just, the speedometer would just go all the way over till she pegged. This car did 145 miles an hour and had a very excellent steering. I put gas shocks on her so she wouldn't bottom out. The engine weighed 760 pounds, but that thing was the monster. The monster. Took this thing through the tunnel in New York City, and I knew the exhaust, the muffler was out, and I just hit the 4 barrels. I just floored the damn thing, and it sounded like a dinosaur. And I went down to New York City to, I was trying to find, some girls or a date or something, and I was in Wall Street, and this black guy said, "Wait a minute, William, you got the wrong handle. That's the green handle. That's diesel. Don't put that in your station wagon." That that black guy basically saved my life. I got the station wagon back home, but by God, that wasn't the day that I did 145 miles an hour. Let's talk about the 145 mile an hour thing. It's a brand new highway in Danbury, Connecticut. And I wanted to see what this baby could do. I wanted to see what this car could do. Brand new highway. And I floored the dang thing. And I knew Chrysler was like a jet plane. You just keep her between the lines. And when it got too touchy, I backed off. I backed off at about 145. It might have been 148. Not NASCAR stuff. But that car just flew like the wind. Now, what happened was many years later, she was very, very old. And I had to find a home for her. I could just couldn't scrap her. I tried to sell her for $600. A guy came by with $400. Actually, I should have sold the car to him, but I didn't. And it came to the point of me scrapping the car or selling it to her poor family. And so I chose to sell it to a poor family. And I used to deliver car parts and talk with the mechanic, and they said that this lady in the woods really needs a car badly. And so I sold them for $50. I showed them, if something goes wrong, you jiggle this and you shake that. But she's a sweetheart. And the lady said, "I have 6 children." She said, "How did you know I needed a car?" I said, "Well, God told me." And a mechanic across the street. So that's where the 1974 Chrysler Town and Country ended up at. And I miss that car to this day because you could just floor it, and she would just do the thing. She's the sweetest, wonderful. And Walter Percy Chrysler. What a wonderful car. I mean, said enough about this. This is a really long. I get over 10 minutes. Oh, I get Chris. No, I don't. I do this pro bono. And I miss her. Just Google 1974 Chrysler Town and Country. And it might still sold. If it's the one with the wooden paneling, you know, that was basically my car. It's my mom and dad's, but by God, I was a cheap mechanic. One day I did the motor apart, and the cylinder head off, and my dad says, oh, "Can you get this thing back together? Can you get this car back together?" I said, "Dad, next day at 1:30 in the afternoon," I said, "Dad, don't worry about it. Okay, now I need you to hop inside the car. I got the cylinder head back on, the head's polished, and everything is working perfectly. Now what I need you to do is turn the key. Turn the key. Son, nothing happened." So now Dad pushed the gas pedal down a couple of times, right? Pump, 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 pump. "That's not doing nothing," he said. I said, "Then I want you to turn the key again a third time." And the engine just fired up. Vroom! And he said, "Wow, this thing's working perfectly." I said, "Yeah, Dad, it is running nice." And then he said, Son, I knew you could do it. I knew you could fix this car." And when we moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, she had to go somewhere. I took my Nova and I decided the Buick Electra, the 225, 455 engine. That was Mom and Dad's cruiser. The cruiser goes, and my Chevy Nova goes with me. And I made a big mistake. Well, actually, it wasn't a mistake because it went to a family in the woods. And 1974 Town and Country wagon. Um, she's someone. Even if she's scrap metal, a part of her belongs to somebody, somewhere, because that thing was the most wonderful car. That wonderful thing that just flew like the wind. And boy, she was heavy, but she was fast, and she was always sweet and wonderful, and always loved me, and always did what I wanted her to do. And I said, "Wow, you click this thing, it's magical air conditioning. The seats are so comfortable and luxurious. You you just couldn't believe what it was like. Oh gosh, I can't believe my dad bought this thing." My dad said, "I got this in an auction. This is a company limousine, limited, special ordered." And what a wonderful car she was. Midnight blue metallic, which later, special ordered, later became a color for Chrysler factory, metal flag. Even my Tundra, my new, I call it new, 2004 Tundra, has a metal flag. A good lacquer paint job and some polish and some love. And you just say, "Come on, baby, get me down the road." The story of 1974 Town and Country wagon. Boy, if you ever had a car, if you had a car that loved you, you felt bad that you sold it. That's how I feel today. So I have to end this video, but that thing was the most wonderful thing. I'd sit in the back and my dad would be driving, and Carol and Karen, my sisters, would be with me. And you could just watch. And that thing with the rear window open, and it had what do they call it, above the top, a fin. And you know what the fin was for? Was to stop the exhaust gas from entering the vehicle. But me and my sisters, we had so much fun. I used to put my toolbox under the seat. What a wonderful car. I know this is really long. This may take all day to download, but if I ever wanted a car back, I would choose the Chrysler Town and Country wagon. I would choose the Dodge Dart Swinger, the Plymouth Valiant, and my dad's 1964 Ford Galaxy 500 XL 500. And he said, just hit the clutch gently, double clutch. Now watch, here's the DL. Now this is so you don't actually go in reverse. This was a Hurst shifter. This This car was amazing. One of 10 NASCAR Spinners Thunderbird T-Bird 390. Dual exhaust. The police actually pulled my dad over. This thing's too loud. This thing belongs on a racetrack. I miss that car. My dad said, don't look up. Don't look up, boy. We were doing 109 miles in third gear. It would have been amazing to ride road with Dad in fourth gear. Now my mom was also like a race car driver. My mom had the Pontiac Tempest, and she blew up the transmission because my mom was in second gear, and my mom actually did 100 miles an hour in second gear. It blew up the transmission in the Pontiac Tempest, which my dad replaced the transmission, and then she got the Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, and stories of my mom. My mom with the Chevy Bel Air before I was born, and the shifter, and she was in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, and my mom couldn't shift the shift car right, and she was buying groceries, and all the people in Atlanta, Georgia were going, "Wait a minute, here comes Mrs. Overlander again with the station wagon." She couldn't really shift right. And people actually pointing and making fun of my mom. Here comes Mrs. Overland with that shift station wagon that my dad gave her. Anyway, I said enough about cars, but my gosh, the Ford Galaxie 500 XL 400. Google it, black, Hurst shifter, and boy, that baby could move. And one day, my dad came home without the car. And I knew how much it was worth even then. I said, "Dad, what did you do?" He said, "A black man, my friend Steve at work, needed a car really bad. And all he had was $200. And so I sold it to him. And he did a good thing. And we've been blessed after this gift. For many, many years. And years later, my dad said, if I knew you were going to become such a good mechanic, I wouldn't have sold that car. I said, "It's okay, Dad. Somebody got blessed with that car." The end of this Williams' favorite videos. And I'm sorry this was long. I usually don't make a movie. I'm surprised I have enough time on my phone. I made a really long. This might take all day. Story of cars. I depend on my Tundra. I'd never been without 300 horsepower. Electric cars might be the future. I have electric bicycles. They're lots of fun. But I don't think it's time yet. I still like 300 horsepower. I'm very, very lucky. Policemen have been very kind to me. And I am respectful of the law, but believe me, I cheat a lot. And luckily I haven't gotten caught or busted yet. Enjoy this. Enjoy my story about cars. And love you. God said bye-bye. Have a blessed day. This is love from me to enjoy Williams' favorite videos and have a blessed, fantastic day.